So Capcom recently had their 45th general shareholders meeting, and during this meeting, they were asked several questions, and I have to give some of these investors credit. They weren't terrible. Like, they actually thought of different things that they could ask Capcom that would lead to at least questions that would maybe impact their business in the future. Physical games came up that I think we'll go over a bit more in Newswave tomorrow, but there was one question about a certain intellectual property that's been on the shelf for 6 years or so now, and it's something I would like to see Capcom really figure out here, and that, of course, is Mega Man. Well, we're going to go over Capcom's response here, and actually maybe a path forward for them, at least what I think they could do to take the franchise to the next level. So if you guys enjoy the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. Let's go over here. This is posted up by this Noisy Pixel, and again, this is Capcom's 45th general shareholder meeting. And we can see one of the questions was, please tell me what plans you have for the Mega Man series. Again, the last time we really saw Mega Man with a new original game, not just a collection, which they've been doing a lot of collections. And we've heard Capcom mention that while original games, new games, they take time to make, these collections are a bit easier, obviously, for them to put together and just kind of get out there to sort of remind people that these franchises exist. They most recently said that with the Marvel vs. Capcom collection that's coming out. Hey, it'll be a bit for us to figure out how to make a new MVC game, but in the meantime, here's a collection of a bunch of crossover fighting games because it's easy to get out there right now. And we've kind of seen the same with Mega Man through the years with the Legacy collection, and then recently with like the Zero collection. We've seen the Battle Network collection, so quite a few of those. But they say Mega Man is one of our highly valued IPs, and we are considering how to create games for it on an ongoing basis. And of course, they're going to say that after what happened with the Battle Network series, where that collection exploded to over 1 million sales in no time. It was very, very quick. Still, that's a collection, and I'd like to think more about some of the original Mega Man games that they've released, with the most recent one being, 2018? With Mega Man 11. That is actually the best-selling Mega Man game at this time, like just a new original Mega Man game, right? Not a collection or anything, which I guess technically I think still it's the highest-selling Mega Man game just outright, although I'm sure the Battle Network collection is going to be around there or past it here at any time, but that's at 1.9 million units. And I think the thing with the Mega Man franchise, people tend to maybe forget that it's not a massive seller on a title-by-title basis. If you collectively add up all the Mega Man games, because there are so many of them, yes, it's tens of millions of copies that have sold across the board. But individually, I mean, this is it right here. Them trying to push up to 2 million sold is like the best-selling Mega Man game. It's 64th place in the platinum sales for Capcom, where they'll go through and list all of their games in order. And I mean, it's below even just singular releases like Resident Evil 4 on the Wii, right? The Capcom Arcade Stadium. Like, the list goes on, and for games that some people just did not like a Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, 2.2 million sold. So I think that's the biggest thing Capcom needs to figure out now, and one of the reasons they're answering the question in this way is while they do consider it a highly valued IP because it has a lot of recognition just outside of its individual games. I mean, it's been in Smash Brothers. It's had all kinds of media and merchandise just outside of video games. There's a whole, remember the cartoon? That was a lot of fun, even though it had some weird moments. I think the crossover episode with X and Mega Man was really cool, but when you get into time travel and different universes and stuff, it can get a little sketchy with the storytelling. Still, though, it was just fun to see them both on screen at the same time. But nonetheless, Mega Man has existed outside of video games for quite a while now. So yes, for Capcom, who maybe is trying to reach outside of just the gaming sphere, Mega Man is considered a highly valued IP, but they need to figure out how to take the franchise to that new level, one that is more lucrative than, yes, 2 million sold. And I think that's the part that they're really struggling with right now. I'd like to think that they already have it figured out, and they already have a new Mega Man game in the works at this time, because if they don't, and they've been relying on these collections, it's still going to be several years before we see a new Mega Man game come out. Like, we could see another 4 years or so. And I think that's the biggest issue right now for them, is game development takes so long currently that even with them using their in-house RE engine, it's still years and years off if they don't have an idea right now. And as I was kind of thinking about this, I do believe the next step for them would be a new Mega Man X game. They've already kind of alluded to that with the Mega Man X collection. There's different like museum pieces, and one of them seemed to reference the next entry, that being Mega Man X9, coming off of X8, which was, you could say, disastrous, to put it lightly. It basically doomed the franchise at that time. But I think there is a way for them to go back and either have a follow-up or just do a reboot. I actually wouldn't mind them going that route. And what I mean by that is they go back and they take the first, I would even say the first 4 Mega Man X games, roll it into one title and sort of do a reimagining of it and just try to start fresh at that point and see if it's something that could actually work for them and they can build off of that. And yes, kind of retcon a lot of the stuff that they did on the PS2. After seeing what they were able to do with the RE engine, with Ghosts and Goblins, the recent 2D game that they did with the RE engine, I think looked pretty good. There were some, of course, differing opinions on it, but I feel like RE Engine in general is just such a flexible engine that they've been able to use for high-quality, visually impressive 3D games, but also use it for something like that is maybe a way they can go with the next Mega Man X game that would be viewed more in like a mature tone. And it might be a way for them to also keep things a bit cheaper for the game, which I'm sure is a pretty serious concern in their mind, is having scope for Mega Man lineup internally, but also be able to get to a level where maybe they can get full price for it. And Nintendo did show that you can do it with something like Metroid Dread. That was a full $60 for them, and it sold 3 million copies or so at this time. And I think Capcom will be thrilled to be able to sell 3 million copies of a new Mega Man or Mega Man X game, especially since right now the top selling one is just under 2 million copies sold. It's just figuring out how they can make it feel valuable enough as a 2D game to get there, because I think when they tried to make it 3D, it just did not work for Mega Man. Now, when you go the route of Mega Man Legends, which maybe that scope would line up more with a big adventure that takes hours and hours to play through with all kinds of scripting, and then you also have like the RPG elements, that might fall more in line with the full-priced direction. But I still think if you put out a really good 2D game that feels high quality, looks good using RE Engine, you could probably put that bigger price tag on it and maybe be able to revive Mega Man in that way. But I'm curious what people think here. How would you go about this if you were Capcom right now? Which franchise within the Mega Man IP would you tap? Would it be a new Battle Network? Would it be a new Mega Man Legends? Would you go with X, or maybe even just regular Mega Man? And would you go the route of, say, RE Engine or something else? Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.